The ceremonial chamber fell into absolute silence when Akim's wrench clattered against the metallic floor. Every Zelthari in the sacred hall turned their luminescent eyes toward the human girl kneeling beside the eternal vessel, their most holy relic, the living ship that had carried their ancestors across the void for 10,000 years. Heretic! High Priest Zelmak's voice echoed through the vaulted chamber, his crystalline skin flaring bright purple with rage. The human defiles the sleeping god. Akim didn't move. Her hands remained inside the open neural port of the massive biomechanical construct, fingers coated in the silvery fluid that served as both blood and data for the ancient vessel. She'd been so close. Just a few more connections and the dying neural pathways would have been bridged. I said step away from the vessel, human, Zelmak commanded, his 6 arms spreading wide in a gesture of dominance. Can't, Akim replied calmly, her voice steady despite the dozen ceremonial guards now pointing energy lances at her back. If I remove my hands now, the cascade failure will complete in approximately 47 seconds. Your sleeping god will actually die. The priest's bioluminescent patterns flickered with confusion. The vessel does not die. It sleeps, it has always slept. It will awaken when the prophecy is fulfilled. Yeah, I've heard the sermon. Akim's brown eyes never left her work as she carefully rerouted another synaptic thread. Thing is, your sleeping god isn't sleeping. It's in a coma, has been for at least 3 centuries, and it's getting worse. Murmurs rippled through the assembled Zelthari. Such words bordered on the unthinkable. Verk pushed through the crowd of shocked aliens, his tall frame easily visible above the Zelthari. The human engineer's face was flushed with equal parts exertion and panic. Akim, what the hell are you doing? We were supposed to just survey the temple, not... It talked to me, Akim interrupted, her voice soft with wonder. When I got close enough, it reached out. Verk, it's conscious in there. Barely, but it's fighting so hard to stay alive, and they won't help it because they think it's supposed to be dormant. Zelmak's skin shifted from purple to a dangerous crimson. The vessel does not talk. You lie to justify your sacrilege. She's not lying, Verk said quietly, pulling a scanner from his belt. He'd worked with Akim long enough to trust her instincts, even when they led them into catastrophically bad situations. His device began displaying readings that made his eyes widen. Holy shit! There's active neural activity in there. A lot of it. And it's fragmenting. The priest stared at the human device as if it were a venomous creature. Your machine speaks falsehoods. My machine speaks data. Verk stepped closer to the vessel, his scanner painting holographic readouts in the air. Look, I get it. You've worshipped this thing for millennia. But worship and maintenance aren't the same thing. When was the last time anyone actually interfaced with the vessel's systems? Zelmak's crystalline features hardened. The ancient text forbids such intrusion. We preserve the sanctity of the vessel through prayer and it's dying because of it, Akim said, her hands moving with practiced precision through the neural lattice. She could feel it now, the desperate pulses of a consciousness that had been slowly suffocating under the weight of neglect disguised as reverence. This ship isn't a god. It's a person. A living, thinking person who's been locked in their own failing body while everyone around them lit candles and chanted instead of actually helping. Blasphemy! Biology, Akim countered. Sophisticated bioengineering, sure, but still biology. And biology breaks down without care. She paused, feeling a particularly damaged neural cluster. You want to know what your sleeping god dreams about? It dreams of flying, of feeling solar wind across its hull, of carrying your people to new worlds. But it can't do any of that because its nervous system is degrading, and nobody's been maintaining the organic components. Verk's scanner beeped urgently. Akim, I'm reading a massive spike in... The entire vessel shuddered. A sound like a deep, resonant breath filled the chamber, the first such sound in living memory. The Zelthari fell to their knees in instinctive reverence, but also terror. Light bloomed along the vessel's hull, tracing patterns that hadn't illuminated in generations. Akim felt warmth spread through the neural tissue beneath her hands, felt synapses firing that had been silent for centuries. And then, impossibly, words formed in her mind, not spoken but felt, transmitted through the direct connection she'd established. Thank you. Tears streaked down Akim's face as she worked faster, her engineering knowledge merging with the vessel's own desperate instructions on how to repair itself. You're welcome, she whispered. Just hang on. What? What is happening? Selmak's voice had lost its anger, replaced by awe and confusion. Verk checked his readings again, then looked at the priest with something approaching sympathy. What's happening is that your god is waking up. Really waking up. Because someone finally treated it like a living being instead of a monument. The vessel's voice touched all their minds now, weak but growing stronger. I have slept too long in the darkness of silence. The small one with clever hands hears me. She repairs what was broken. She remembers what you forgot, that I am alive. Akim pulled her hands free, the neural port sealing behind them with a wet, organic sound. She stumbled backward, caught by Verk's steady grip. The silvery fluid on her hands seemed to glow with its own light. The repair work is just a patch job, she said, addressing the stunned Zelthari. It'll stabilize the critical systems, but there's centuries of degradation to reverse. Your vessel needs a real medical team. Engineers who understand biomechanical systems. Regular maintenance, not just prayers. Selmak approached slowly, his skin cycling through colors that suggested profound emotional turmoil. We have been neglectful. In our reverence, we imprisoned rather than honored. He looked at Akim with new eyes. How did you know? How did a human understand what we could not? Akim wiped her hands on her coveralls, managing a tired smile. Because humans are pretty good at one thing. We fix what's broken. Even when we're told it's impossible. Even when we're told it's sacred and shouldn't be touched. She glanced at the now glowing vessel. Especially then. The vessel hummed, a sound like contentment, like hope. The small one speaks truth. You called me God, but I am ship. I am companion. I wish to fly again. And in that moment, the Zelthari began to understand what humanity had always known. That sometimes, the most sacred act isn't worship, but the courage to reach out and help, even when the rules say you shouldn't. Even when the God you're saving isn't dead yet, but dying all the same. The end.